With this note, I hand over today's webinar to Prem Baladat ma'am. She's a subject matter expert, author, editor, having a lot of experience. So, ma'am, the platform is all yours now to discuss the paper. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for this warm welcome. So, when I saw the paper, I don't think it was a tough one. I guess you people will be agreeing with me also. And just I am presenting the paper. Somehow I managed to get that because it was a tough task today, but somehow I managed and I'm presenting it. So, as you all know, the section one, section A, which is there are in total, we have to attempt. I mean, the students were supposed to do total was of 5 mark, and they were supposed to attempt only 3 questions out of the four. The very first one was what is a wage employment, and it was a straight to the point question which says that yeah, when it is a collaboration, or you could say an agreement between the two parties, as I have mentioned it over here also, when it is an agreement between a mutual agreement between the two parties, the employer and the employee, and on a specific term, specifically in a business firm or in any government organization also, then it is called as a wage employment. So it was for 1 mark, to the point answer only. Then the next one, it says that how food is one of the major problem related to sustainable development. It is very important part given in the book only, and that, but to the crux, it was required that students are supposed to write in short but the entire thing, like it is specifically why these SDGs are there. So it is for the sustainable development. First thing, survival of a species, and then we may include this point as it is a major cause why it is, I mean, numerous studies have shown that food supply chain is a jeopardized. So what is required is major cause of greenhouse gas emission, unsuitable water extraction, and pollution, deforestation, and biodiversity loss. So what are major problems related to this? These are the problems because of which there is a scarcity of food, or you could say the food is not equally divided, or it is, there are so much, you could say, wastage of food. So we have to put certain things into control which could actually limit the wastage. So these were some of the options which the students would have, I mean, they could have written it over there. Then the third one, which says to get success, every business idea needs to be unique or special. It was I mean, slightly tricky, and the students could write it very beautifully also. They have also experience. I think most of the students know about the Shark Tank also. They know about that if the idea is better, how the ideation can be can actually lead a business to much more extent. So it is not only that the clever marketing is required, rather first step is the ideation. If the idea is wonderful and presented wonderfully, then only it would be a, it could lead to a good business. So for surviving in the industry, yes, it is a requirement that the idea should be unique, not a copied one. First thing, and yes, it should be presented in such a way so that it could gather people. And definitely the third step would be the clever marketing, which will just rope in into the you could say the person or the people who will be actually benefited for this. So if they are not benefited, there's no point of exploring, there's no point of showcasing that thing to the people who generally don't require it. So that is another question. 1 marker only, to the point, which students can write. But yes, since it's about is the above statement a myth or a fact? So I would say yes, it is a fact. So next one is, what is a major purpose of sustainable development? Though herein the choice was given, but don't know which student has attempted which all questions. So I am discussing all of them over here. So the next one was that what is a major purpose for sustainable development goals? So since we all know that these are SDGs, these are 17 SDGs which were all set up by United Nations, and the major purpose of setting up these SDGs was to I mean, to promote the equality, to remove the poverty, to protect the planet, for sustainable growth of every living being. And yes, also one important thing, that by 2030 every person should be enjoying the life to the fullest with peace and prosperity. So that was a main major purpose of developing these 17 SDG. So they are not asking you to write the name of all the SDGs, but yeah, major function, major focus was what is in need. So they could have written, if they have written these some of the important point for the benefit of humanity and other living being, it would definitely give them the marks. So we move to the next one, which is question number 5. It says answer any one question out of given two. So here the choice was there. So write any 4 common functions of an entrepreneur, to the point question from the book as such. And then the next one was sustainable development can actually happen only when each one of us works towards it. Mention any 4 ways which we can do at our end to reduce inequality. That is another. This is also another very simple, straightforward question from the book, which if the student have written or read by, I mean, before the exam, they might have read, they could have written it in their own words also, and there's definitely no negative, obviously there's no negative marking, but yeah, to the point question is there from the book only, they could have scored over here. So these are some of the points which I have mentioned related to that, what are the functions of an entrepreneur, which are given in the book also, like determination of the objective before setting up of any business. So they need to just set up that. There could be primary and secondary objective which an entrepreneur should decide before proceeding further. What are the market situation, how this particular business would rise or can be stabilized in a business. So these are some of the determination before any of the business is being promoted. Then what is the innovation into it? Is there any new thing, newness into it? For example, if you see, if I talk about simple a computer device, you would say that how from floppy diskettes to CD to pen drive to Bluetooth devices, and now there's so everything is on cloud. So how the innovation is going on, how the changes are coming up, and yes, if it is in the benefit of people, if it is in the benefit of mass, it is going to help it out. So that is innovation. Then development of a market. If you're generating a product, so you have to create a market for it also. It's not that the market is already available, you need to create it for. So the students can add up this point. And then obviously the new technology, if it is, then you need to promote it to the fullest. So these are some of the these are the functions, basic functions, which any of the entrepreneurs should generate, should work on to make a successful business. So now the section B, which is actually a total of 12 marks, which consists of 4 plus 8 marks. And it says that there is a choice, answer any 4 out of 6 questions. So total 6 questions are there, out of which they were supposed to do any of the 4. The choices were there. So first question is, what is NLP? This is natural language processing, why it is being used. So if they have written only what is NLP, it is a natural language processing, will not give them full mark, because here the slight description about that where it is being used and what is the purpose of it is also required, which could be in this form, like it is the ability of computer program to understand human language, whether it's a spoken or a written. And yes, it is, you could say it is a component or a part of AI. So it should be included in the answer for complete 1 mark. Then the next one, mention any commonly used applications of NLP. So nowadays you would see that every sector, everywhere, these NLPs are used. People carry devices using NLP, like the phones in which they use Siri or Bixby, or you could say Alexa. So any personal digital assistance which is understanding the voice messages, for example, to dial a number even. So you could use your personal digital assistants. Your Cortana is one such example. So wherein the voice is being recognized as an instruction, and then the response or the instruction is being carried out by some other device, would be An example, or you could say, would be called as an application of NLP. Two of them I have mentioned it over here, like digital phone calls. You travel in your car, and if it is attached with your phone device with with the help of Bluetooth, even if you do not dial a number, so you can speak, and the message could be directed to with your voice. The message could be directed to the digital assistants, and then the number could be dialed. You have seen in various advertisements also, it is brought there on the television. Or I must say, nowadays everyone is generally might be using it. Another one is a predictive text. This is also called as auto text feature, that when you are writing, so if even if you have not completely written the sentence, meanwhile you may get some options out of it. If I write good, automatically you will see such options like morning or afternoon, depending on the hour or the time of my current system. So these are called as predictive text. Hey, how are, if I simply write this much, obviously it will show me some of the options which I may use for completing the sentence. So these are some few examples which a student could have written, and if they have written, definitely they would I mean, they can get this complete 1 mark for this thing. But another thing, wherever such statement are given, for such questions are given, it is always prescribed that the student should give a one liner example also to justify their statement.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at rupees 1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows three-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers, and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Then the next question is like, name any two currently popular virtual assistants. Virtual means the assistants which are not physically present, but yes, they are there to do a specific task. Just like I have given the example of Bixby or Alexa, or you could say Cortana. So these are some of the common examples of virtual assistants which are now being practiced, used everywhere. Even the small kids of say age 5 years, they all are using, and they all are well oriented about these popular virtual assistants. So it was very simple question. Then name the process of dividing whole corpus into a sentence. So if the students recall this, they should know that the corpus is the complete body of the, or you could say complete body of a paragraph, that is considered as a whole corpus. And when that corpus, that complete, you could say framework, complete paragraph is divided into several sentences, so two methods are generally being used, and which is called a segmentation or a tokenization, in which this corpus is broken down into several units, into smaller sections. So we will call this as a tokenization, a method which is also segmentation. So we can call that as a tokenization, to simply separate each unit or each word as a separate token from the entire paragraph. So this was one, I think, I mean, by this time most of the students have practiced this question, so they must be aware of what is tokenization, so they would have written this. Next thing is question number 11, which asks about, with the reference to evaluation process of understanding the reality of any AI model, define the term true positive. So this question, when I talk about, so there are basically four cases: true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative. So on this basis there are certain other questions which are being questioned over here. So one is like over here I have given the example for true positive. A true positive is an outcome where the model correctly predicts the positive classes. For example, one example I have also given here just for the sake of, and why this is given, I uh, expect that also that it should have been given over there, so that the examiner while checking the paper clearly gets an idea about that what does true positive actually mean. So an example is required to justify, to explain the thing over here, which says that sick people correctly identified as sick, so we call it as a true positive. Sick people, that means a person who is sick is correctly, that means yes, they have been diagnosed as a sick only, so they are called as true positive. Whereas if I say about true negative, I want to discuss this case before, because here it is similar to that of true positive, which says healthy people correctly identified as healthy. So you will see two positive cases like this. I mean, true negative, which also says healthy people correctly identified as healthy. Now it's a similarity between the two in the true positive and true negative. Whereas if I say false positive, you will see it says healthy people incorrectly identify as sick. And if I say false sick, false negative, sick people incorrectly identify as healthy. So in amongst these four cases, you could see the true positive would be sick people correctly identified as sick. So I have given this example just to justify, just to make it more concrete about that what is actually the meaning of true positive by giving all the four options. So if the case has been explained like this, it gives more clarity about what is actually a true positive is. So I think it should be done like this. Then we move to the next one, wherein it was asked that what is F1 score. So in sample papers also, in Goyal brothers sample paper also, so many examples were given, and in other books also, it was to the point question and a practical oriented question which was asked, what is F1 score? So the definition I have given, though they, or if even if the students have written the complete formula with the depiction of what does TP, FP and FN is written, even then they will get complete 1 mark, because it was only asking what is actually a formula and how it has to be calculated. So but here, just for the sake of explanation, for more clarity, I have given the complete definition about what it is. And if it is given while giving, if the answer is answered by giving the correct definition and the formula, so nothing is left out over here, and 1 complete mark will can be scored here, which says F1 score, like the formula harmonic mean between precision and recall, and it is actually TP upon TP plus half FP plus FN, whereas TP, FP and FN are specifically defined as what is TP is number of true positive, number of false positive, number of false negative, and when we put up in all these value including one into one unit as the formula, we may call it as a F1 score. Then we move to the next part, which is saying answer any four. Here again the choice is coming, and it is answer any four questions out of given 6. Now we get 6 questions, and it will be all of 2 mark. Till here, till question number 12, they were all for 1 mark. Now it is all of 2 mark, and about 4 questions are to be done, wherein 2 are optional. So I mean, 6 are given, out of them the students have to appear only for 4. And the first, it says differentiate between the script bot and a smart bot. This is also to the point, given in the book as such. No, I mean, no change in the question. It's very simple to answer, that the student could simply write the difference, that one is easy to make, one is slightly difficult, which includes a different set of languages, and it is script bots are generally free and easy to integrate, whereas smart bots are they require little learning because they require the coding also to be done, and script because it is very simple and easy to use, easy to integrate, so it has a limited functionality. Whereas if it is a smart board, so definitely it is, you could say, as per the condition, as per the situation, they have been customized, so they are more advanced, so they will be little have wide variety, wide functionality as comparison to the script board. So this were, even if the two differences, if they are properly written, would make it. And yes, the complete 2 mark could be scored for this thing.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at rupees 1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Then from AI project cycle, this question has been asked. And for such questions, I would suggest that if specifically from project cycle, if the question has been put up and students are writing, I would say that if they have drawn the diagram also, it is an added advantage because it gives a clear picture. Yes, the child knows all the steps, all the process, entire cycle, and what after next, what after every step is being done, and what is the role of each step would be clearly visible from the diagram only. Therefore, I have given the small image of this also. And then what is the use of this evaluation? This comes after modeling. So if you see the project cycle start from the problem identification, that means it has to be identified first, then the scope of the problem, whether it is having a big scope, huge scope, on which any work could be done. It is not a one-day task. It is not a a small problem which could be overlooked. It is actually a problem on which they can be done. So what is the scope? Then how you are acquiring the data on which the analysis could be done. Then after that, the data exploring, you need to fetch the data collection, then modeling it, creating it, and after doing that prototype, or if it is a pilot plan, it is evaluated is to get the proper feedback. If it is not properly done, so obviously you will not get the proper feedback. If it is correct, definitely it is going to help it out. If there are any flaws, could be worked on, so that the entire AI project cycle is actually creating a prototype or a model which is going to help out and evaluates the situation, and then after implementation of a solution, whether it could justify, whether it could sort out the problem. So this evaluation basically judges or checks an API is application interface, or you could say any of the solution which have been given is evaluated for the sake of feedback. And if it is all good, it will be executable. If there are certain flaws, on the basis of feedback, would be rectified later. So this was the purpose of the evaluation stage in the AI project cycle. Then as I asked you, as I told you in the previous question, wherein the segmentation I have discussed. So now they have simply asked what is tokenization, and which I have just explained before also. And also in this question, it is asking you count how many tokens are present in the following statement. A statement has been given. So as I say, what is tokenization? It is actually breaking or separating a complete corpus or a complete paragraph into different smaller units or tokens. These units are called as tokens. inclusive of dash, inclusive of special symbols, inclusive of numerical value, inclusive of any punctuation mark, inclusive of full stop also. So when all of these things are all considered together, clubbed up together and separate as a single entity, then we call it as a tokenization. So when this sentence, complete sentence was given, I've written that individually, including of these comma and full stop, the total comes out to be 16. So what is tokenization? It's a method of separating a piece of text into small unit. And yes, how many the tokens have been created? It is about 16, which are there given in the sentence. So we move to the next one, question number 16, which is actually herein it is being asked that how this is a question of stemming, wherein the words were given and they ask you to remove the affixes and the stem. Affix is the word which is attached later. For example, here IES is attached, ING is attached. Prefix is the word which is attached before the word. For example, if something is added before tries, would be called as prefix. Affixes which are added at the end. So here the main word is tries. These are the words given: tries, learning. And so affixes for affix for tries would be es. So the stem word, that is the base word, would be try. And it is not necessary that when the stem word is being generated, it makes sense. It's not necessary when we do stemming. So yeah, the spelling error you could see here, but it is not actually a spelling error. It is actually a base word which we will be moving into after removing the affix. So it would become DRI. For learning, ing is removed over here, and the stem word would be then learn only. So it was for 2 mark, and 2 words are only given. So half for each, half, half, and half, half for this thing. So yeah, if the attempt is for all of them and they are all these, so complete 2 mark. Now the next, this question has come and it is from the sample paper, I must say. So which is saying that with reference to evaluation stage of AI, explain the term accuracy, and the formula also is being required. So it is actually it is defined as a percentage of correct predictions out of all the observation, and a prediction is said to be correct if it matches reality. So how the formula is calculated? Accuracy says correct predictions about total cases into 100, and then the percentage is being calculated like this. So correct prediction says total positive plus total negative. They are the correct predictions, as I discussed before also. And then total number of cases would be total positive, total negative, false positive, and then false negative, true positive, true negative, and then false positive, false negative, when they are all added together. And then by dividing it into 100, we get that cases. And these are the, you could see the I mean the details, full forms of what are all TP and TNR.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at rupees 1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows three-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers, and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.
So now we move to the next one, which is a competency based question. Here you could see in this, it is basically a bag of words question. And herein, you remember, if like when we discuss the paper pattern, therein also I have discussed that uh, total two questions have to be done, three are given, out of them only two are supposed to be done. So this is very very simple part, very simplest rather, I must say, because in every sample paper and even in the CBSE sample paper, and other papers also which were discussed, which were shared, they were having this to the point question. And yes, this is a same pattern which is being followed, wherein this question says that consider a text like this. There are three statements which are being given, and the bag of word is very prominent question which is being asked. So when we do bag of word, we generally eliminate few words like is, are, to. So these are the words which we generally overlook for considering only and only the main question, main words. So when I consider document one, so there were some words which are very common over here. I mean, which for which we'll be working on, like Sahil. So this is the name I have used. Likes, two I'm ignoring, play and cricket. So I've used these words. When I move to the second, the next is Sajal is there. Likes we were already having. Cricket was already there. Two is again I'm ignoring. Then document three, from these words also select the words, and if it is not already existing, I may have another word. So on the basis of that, this grid structure will be formulated. And then from sentence one, that is document one, we will see that Sahil, this word, whether it is occurring, yes, yeah, how many times it is occurring, only once, so we'll put one here. Likes is there, yes, how many times, one, in sentence one. Plays there, yes, how many times, one. Similarly for cricket, now you could see Sajal and basketball were not there in the first document or the sentence. So therein, if the word doesn't exist in the sentence, we are supposed to put up zero there. So that was for sentence one. For sentence two and for the sentence three, it would be done like that. So now we move to the next one, which is, as there is a choice, student might have skipped this question because it was about the simple term frequency and inverse document frequencies being asked. Though it is to the point, they were supposed to write the small description with the formula. Even if they have written with the formula, small example would have been taken, so they could have scored complete 4 mark. So what is term frequency? It says that how often the word appears in a document divided by how many words there are. So this was the formula. And yes, they could have taken this example only, the prior one, in which they have written the complete grid structure has been formulated. With this, considering this grid only, they could have considered, they could have created or solved the term frequency as I just demonstrated. Then comes the inverse document frequency, which is the examiner's pet question, which is also called as TF-IDF. So term frequency, inverse document frequency, it is a term, and it is a measure used in the fields of information retrieval and machine learning. And yeah, by putting simply the formula, which the students know also, they simply could have written, and using this grid only as the example was required, they could have calculated, and complete 4 mark was there. Now this question should have been attempted only in that case if they were having doubt for question number 21. So therein they could uh, write in their own word, they could explain, because it was from 4 mark, two for each, two for term frequency, two for inverse document frequency. Writing the formula was one thing, definition was another thing, giving the example by taking either the first question only, the previous question, or some other example if they are having, they could have written and score good mark if they were not through about the last one, because in many cases students are not very comfortable in doing the calculation, so they could have opted for a safer side by attempting question number 20, which I just showed it over here. So now this is the next question. The confusion matrix is being given over there, and Therein again, the process of calculating F1 score is shared over there, and then how it has to be calculated. So you remember the F1 score formula. It is 2 into precision into recall divided by precision plus recall. So I have given the formula over here. So I tried to fill in over here that this is by reading the question, this could be two positive cases, this is false positive, this is false negative, and this is true negative. After putting these value, because once you read the question, I may just read it out for a while. It says traffic jams have become a common part of our lives nowadays. Living in an urban area means you have to face traffic each and every time you get out on the road. Mostly school students opt for buses to go to school. Many times the bus get late due to such jams, and students are not able to reach their school on time. So thus an AI model is created to predict explicitly if there would be traffic jams on the way. So confusion matrix is given like this, and then by considering these true positive, true negative, false positive, false negative, we could simply consider the F1 score. The formula for this is given over here. Then to find out the precision, the formula is true positive by true positive plus false positive, which would be somewhat like 50 upon, you could see the value as per given in the table in the grid, simply put it over there. Similarly for recall also, put it over there. After calculating the precision and recall, put it in the formula for F1 score, and it would generate the output. So all in all, I would say the paper was not so tough. It was a simple one. The entire process, entire question pattern was very much familiar with the students. So, tokenization is asked, F1 is asked, F1 score is asked, then SDGs are asked. So I would say not a tough one. And if a thorough revision of say about a week is also done, they would definitely crack in a very good mark. So that was all from my side. Any questions from your end, you may please ask.
You may unmute your mic, or either you can write in the chat box if there's any doubt that you have, people, all the participants.
No, ma'am, no doubts.
All right then.
I would like to thank all the participants and as well as Prem ma'am for such informative webinar. I guess all the answers were so much clear that none of them were having any sort of doubts. Thank you so much, all the participants. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. All right.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.